everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to get right down to business with something new from Laura Lee. So if you're interested, hang tight. Okay, let's see here. I have not opened this yet. I figured I'd do this on camera with you guys. For those of you who may not know, Laura Lee is a YouTuber a beauty YouTuber who has started her own cosmetics company, which she calls Laura Lee LosAngeles. This is her second product release. I'll tell you, I'm a little worried about the condition of this because it's really moving around in this box. So let's hope, now this is how it comes, and I don't know if you can see, but this is a very deep box for the actual size of the palette, and there's no padding in there. There's no padding under the palette and no padding on top of the palette. And you know, while the palette is wrapped and feels like it has a thin layer of bubble wrap around it, for the size of the box, they need to be putting some padding in there, because otherwise this thing's just sitting there going bang, 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 bang in there, and that's how people get, you know, broken palettes. So this is how it arrived, wrapped in black tissue paper. And again, this is Laura Lee's second release. This is called the Nudie Patootie Palette. And it is in bubble wrap, so let's hope that she's not broken when I open her. And there is the unicarton. Oh, it's a soft touch palette. Well, I can sure see some inspiration on this. There's the front of the palette, and you can see it's got that raised glossy lettering. When I see this reminds me of MAC's Personality palette. They have this kind of palette with the raised lettering, raised glossy lettering, and there's the back. Let's open her up. Pray for no breakage. And it comes with one of these guys, a real nice thick one. I always keep those. A lot of people don't. I keep them because they keep the shadows, they keep, you know, hold the shadows where they're supposed to be and not all over the mirror. So let's let you get a close look at it. I can see where, and funny, I see the outside of the palette and I think MAC's Personality palettes, and I see the inside and I see almost inspiration from the Queen of Hearts palette. But anyways, it looks real pretty, but I can see why there was a lot of talk online, if you will, about how the colors looked so different on her channel versus the pictures on her website. And I don't know if that's because she edited the colors to try and make them look more vibrant, or if because a lot of times when you take pictures of things that have this really highly reflective background, your camera can pick up the reflection of this, and it alters the actual way the shadows look. So that might be it too. But and it looks like it folds all the way back with a little, you know, a little push. I don't know that I'd want to push it that hard, but it has a nice mirror on it. It looks like a really pretty color palette. This is my first time seeing it right here with you guys. So the funny thing is that this kind of mustardy shade over here that's called Strip, when I look at this palette, that's the only one that I see that just, to me, doesn't fit in because it's so yellow based. Well, Undressed is a yellow based as well, but this one's so yellow based. And this is, I would consider this more of, there's some warm shades in here, there's some neutrals in here, but I would consider this more of a cool tone palette, which I'm really pleased to see because I love the mauve-y, grayish brown type cool tone shades. It's a pretty palette. There's no question about that. But the only thing when I look at this palette, you know, I'm seeing some really, really warm tone shades, and I'm seeing, you know, a few neutrals and several cools. And these two foiled shades, she's got Au Naturel, which looks like a gold, and then Jaybird, which looks like kind of a rosy copper color. Very warm tone. It would have been just, you know, I mean, not a complaint, but it would have been nice given all these cool tones she has here, and even these two shimmers, Uncover And exposed, these two look very cool tone in the pan as well. I would have loved if she'd put, you know, one of these really high intensity foils as a warm and then done a cool toned one in here to go with all these, so that, you know, you can make a complete cool tone look and a complete warm tone look with this palette. But according from what I'm looking at here, it looks like a real pretty palette. Now again, this is her second release. The first one was called Cat's Pajamas, and it sold for $40, but it only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 shadows. This one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2. We have 14 in this. So she's gone up 4 shadows, and this is $45. There was shipping, you know, unfortunately there's no receipt in here. It'd be really nice, you know, if she'd put a receipt in here. I think that's really important. You need a receipt to write it off. So that'd be really nice to have that just for future. I know it's a little added expense, but as her company continues to grow, that's something I think she needs to do. It also comes with this card in here that has a picture of her on it that is it's very pretty, but it doesn't strike me as very Laura Lee, because she's kind of the, you know, she kind of has the, and I'm not saying this insulting, I'm saying this in a very cute, loving way. She kind of has that country bumpkin smile, piggy tail type aura about her. And this is more of a Kim K, what I would see in that. And the other side's really nice. It has, shows the entire palette with, and tells you the colors on them, which I do like that. That's nice, because then there's no confusion. You don't have people guessing what colors. Because trust me, we can all, I mean, there can be 50 of us can look at this palette and we'll tell you 50 different colors of what it looks like. So it's nice that she has that in here. Again, I will try and insert some, if I have time to do the full swatches on my arm as I usually do with brush and finger, I will do that with the half primer, half not, because I know you guys like that. But for right now, I will tell you, just looking at the palette, I think this is a vast improvement over her first one. And if you're interested in seeing the first one and you haven't, I will put a link for it down below, a link to her website, and you can check out both of these palettes. But I think that the palette looks much more professional. You know, the I'm going to be interested to see as her company grows, because so far she started this off very, you know, when I say that country bumpkin, I mean Nudie Patootie, Cat's Pajamas is a southern saying, you know, and now we've gone from Cat's Pajamas to Nudie Patootie, and every one of the shades is named a anonym of nude, you know, something having to do with nudity. So I know she's young. You know, she's in her 20s if I'm not mistaken. I think she's around 28 or so. But I'll be interested to see as her brand, as she grows and as she matures, if her brand matures with her or she stays in this target audience. Because to me, this is very, you know, she's targeting her audience. And I don't know because I haven't looked at her statistics, but my guess would be that Laura Lee probably has a much younger audience. And, you know, this is probably would be, you know, real appealing and cute to a younger audience. So I'll be curious to watch her brand as she, you know, as she grows and continues to release products, because my only concern for her as a businesswoman and a brand owner is that, you know, what you start with is what people expect in the future. And a lot of times if you know, they get you, especially if you do the same thing over and over. In other words, if you stay on a level of the cutesy, you know, cutesy sayings and funny things and stuff, people come to expect that from you pretty darn quickly. You know, I'm not saying this in terms of Laura because I don't know her and I don't know what she's going to be like as she matures. But typically as we mature, we kind of grow out of certain aspects of those things, and we like things to take on a more refined look and a more refined sound and a more refined feeling and everything like that. And my only concern with her is that I'm hoping that her audience will grow with her, so that when she makes those changes, there's not, you know, that she makes them gradually so that her audience, you know, does that make sense? Yeah, I just don't want to see her buckle herself into this. And if I were to advise her, unless she really wants to do that. You know, if that's her goal, to buckle herself into a younger audience and keep that target audience of the younger audience even as she ages, then great. But if she wants to be able to, her brand to have that flexibility to reach and appeal to all audiences on all levels, not that this doesn't, but I'm just saying I think she needs to kind of mix it up a little bit and not just have everything be cutie patootie and cat's pajamas, and you know what I mean? Put out a, you know, palette that has, you know, or a product or what have you. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. And I'm not saying this in an insulting way. I'm saying this very much just thinking of longevity of a business. You know, you have to, your brand has to grow as you do. So otherwise you get stagnant, people get bored of it, and that's all she wrote. So I don't want to see that for her. But anyways, I think it's wonderful that, you know, she's doing what she's doing. I think that it takes a lot of guts to get out there and put your money where your mouth is. So I give her a lot of kudos for that, because it's a big difference having, you know, collabing with a company. When that company, you're just putting your name on it and picking the colors and the design and what have you. You know, when you're doing something with your name on it and your company and your everything, you know, everything's on the line for you. You're putting your money on the line, you're putting your reputation on the line. And I have to say, I think people have been really hard on her. You know, we all make mistakes. We're human, we're not infallible. Doesn't matter what industry we're in, what level of professionalism we have, how much business acuity and experience we have, we all make mistakes. And I've noticed that people don't seem to have they don't seem to give her a lot of leeway. And I think, you know, I think that needs to change, because, you know, we have to remember that she's young, for one thing. Remember back, you know, when I think back when I was 28 years old, I mean, by that time I had my first child. You know, I had my son, who was only probably 3 years old at the time. But, you know, I'm a long ways now from the way I was then. And, you know, I still make mistakes now, but I made a heck of a lot more of them then. And, you know, she's, you know, making these mistakes and having these growing pangs in front of thousands of people. And so I think people just need to remember that, you know, she's not, we're not talking about somebody here who's robotic and has all the answers and can predict how everything's going to happen and what everyone wants. And, you know, even if she did, you can't please everyone. So anyways, my message to Laura would be, keep up what you're doing, girl, because you're going in the right direction. I like how she responded to, I thought the criticism on her first palette was pretty harsh. People were so wrapped up in the packaging, and the packaging, you know, I mean, the outside packaging was beautiful. Where she lost it was on the inside. But as you can see, the outside up here had this beautiful, like, sparkly and everything, real pretty silver sparkly, and then you opened it up and you had a repeat print of a flower. And I think that's just where she lost everybody. But, not everybody, but let me rephrase that. I think that's where she kind of lost it, was the strange cutout around the mirror and the repeat pattern that had nothing to do even with the exterior of the palette. When I look at this palette, I see a cohesive design. So either she's hired somebody on to help her design this, or she's looking at other professional palettes for inspiration. Because like I said, when I look at the exterior of this palette, the design, the length, the shape, the printing, I see MAC personality palettes. That's what I see here. And when I look at the inside, I see the Queen of Hearts palette, which is highly successful palette. So, you know, she could just be using her wits and looking around her at what's successful and putting them together, you know, using those things for inspiration to what she likes. So, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. Let's just sit down and play with a few colors. How about that? So, I am going to use today just my inexpensive brushes, since Laura is such a Morphe girl. I'm going to use a lot of Morphe brushes today instead of my Wayne Goss ones. And I'll get the mirror close and let's zoom in. Okay, and you might notice that, you know, I just have face makeup done here. I am doing a review as usual. Whenever I end up doing a foundation review, I usually end up recording a review on another product at the same time, but right now I'm reviewing the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick, so that might be up before or after this, I'm not sure. And I'm just going to use the Benefit Air Patrol. Absolutely hate the dispenser of this. I really like the primer though because it's more moisturizing than a lot of primers I've dealt with, but the problem is this. You guys have seen this happen before. I just squeeze it once and it just keeps coming and coming and coming. I mean, you can't use that much primer, and then you guys have no idea how much of this primer I've wasted that I've just had to wipe off and throw away just so I could get the cap on the damn thing. I really wish they'd redesign this and put it in a different kind of container, a pot or something. I don't know, because I do like the formula of this. I have such trouble finding a nice primer that works on my lids but doesn't... I mean, look at that. It's still going and I've already primed both my eyes. And you can't just leave it sit there exposed, you know. I mean, it just irritates the hell out of me. Because, you know, when you're paying that much for a product, you don't want to waste it. Let's just pat this in. If they redesign this, then I'd probably buy a different one, but this, I'm tired of wasting it. I really am. It ticks me off so bad, you guys, you have no idea. Now that we got that done, I'm done bitching about that. I'm done. I promise, I'm done. And I'm going to apply this. Now, I am going to go up higher. You know, I have so much space up here, even though I have incredibly hooded eyes. And they've pretty much been like that. See, now look at the color. It is so different. Anyways, what I was saying is, if you look at pictures of me when I was younger, they've always been extremely hooded. Probably almost just a little bit more now, but not much. So, you know, that color in the pan looks like it's a very, very light tan color. But then when I get it on my skin, it has a much rosier... See that? How it has a real rosy hue to it? I mean, it's pretty. I'm not complaining. It's just, I think that's where people are so kind of thrown off by this palette a little bit in terms of the coloring only, is because it just looks so different on the face as compared to in the pan. And you know, I'm used to seeing a little bit of difference, but not that much difference. Oh, Undressed really kicks up a lot in the pan. It has a lot of kickback. Yeah, see, Undressed is very, very yellow toned, and I don't want that with this. Let's see what Bears. Bear is very peachy toned. By the way, that one I was just using was the Morphe E28. I really like their E series brushes. Now I'm going to one of my favorite brushes, which is the Luxie 231, the small tapered blending. I'm just going to take that same color and go under my bottom lash line. Now I'm going to take a clean brush. This is the Morphe M502. I just want to go along the edges here. Really soften this. That color blended beautifully. Tell you one thing, holding the palette like this, because it's so long, I'm holding it like this in my hand, and the corner is like digging into my palm. I need to find a different way to hold this sucker. I'm not used to holding palettes though while I do my eye looks, so I'll get over it. Okay, next, let me see here. What do I want to do? Next, I'm going to go into Butt Naked, and with the same Luxie brush, I'm just going to put it with my eyes open, looking straight ahead. I want this color to peek over the hood of my eye, so that when I look straight ahead, you can still see it. On this eye, I always go over here. I don't know what it is, why I do that. I know I'm going to do it every time, and I still do it. And I'm just using the same clean Morphe brush here. I do it every time. Every damn time. And I'm going to go back into streaking just real quick and see if I can kind of clean that up where I took it too high. Didn't want it that high there. Okay, and back to the Morphe to blend her out. Oh, there's a loose bristle that keeps stabbing me in the eye. Okay, and the next color I'm going to take is Nakey Nakey. Let's see. And this one I'm going to, oh boy, that one is, that is pigmented. I was not prepared for that. That one has some punch to it, big time. Because it is so pigmented, I'm just stamping it on right in this corner here. And of course, like always, I swear one of these times you guys, I will do a look that is just total more along the lines of natural instead of getting, you know, haywire everywhere. And I'm just really softly right at the top, just gonna blend this in very soft. I want to keep that color right in this area. I don't want to move it up, down, or otherwise too much. Just want to keep it right there. You know, my eyes are so differently shaped. I mean, they're drastically different. This one's much more hooded, and it's so difficult to get them both even. Just pains in the ass. Okay, now I want to take, I'm going to take this Royal & Langnickel. It's just a flat shader or flat brush. And I want to take that Nakey Nakey and right along my lash line, use it to define my lash line. And I'm actually going to take it, I think, about 3/4 of the way. We'll see how I like that. And now I'm going to take a pencil brush, and this is the Morphe M578, and I'm going to go into Butt Naked and just really, oh, I didn't mean to go that dark. Oh, see, I forget how, you know, not only these are pigmented, but I forget how dark they are because they just don't look like it in the pan. They're so deceptive. I mean, I would never have guessed, you guys, that this look would be this dark in the end of it. No way. Okay, and then into streaking finally, and just put that all over here. See, I'm never going to be happy with this corner because eyeshadow right here, you notice I have like a blank spot right there. You don't need to tell me, I know. Eyeshadow will not stick there, no matter what I do. No matter what kind of primer I use, no matter whatever, anything, eyeshadow will not stick there. Okay, now I think what I want to do is something I have not done on this channel before, which is a half cut crease. So, I'm going to take, you know what, I'm just going to use, this isn't something I'd normally use, but since Benefit just can't, their container just won't cooperate, I'm going to try and actually use this. And what I do when I do a cut crease is I put, because I have hooded eyes, I put the product down here first and then I look up. This is totally effective right now. So I can see basically though that I need to take it right about there. So let's see if this primer will work. Or if it'll dry too quick like it is right now. Yeah, this is not what I would recommend in the future. So I'm gonna get some concealer and we'll try something else. Hopefully I didn't just completely bugger it up. I'm just gonna take some of the Sephora Bright Future, their gel serum concealer, and really soak both sides of my brush, and I'm using MAC 242 right now. Gotta be kidding, I didn't just do that, did I? Yes, I did. Oh, this could turn out completely like a nightmare, but let's see if I can get him anywhere near close. Wish me luck. Okay, that was a complete and utter nightmare. So Please don't judge. You know, sometimes you can make things happen and sometimes you just can't.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
This is one of those times where I just can't. Okay, now to figure out what color I want to use, let me try Uncover. Oh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, that's pretty. How about Exposed? Oh, those are gorgeous. Those are what I want to use, I think. Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, first, I think on the very inner eyelid, I'm gonna go in with Stark and just pat that right there. Yeah, see, this is like it has a gold shift to it. Not expecting that. Pretty color. Just wasn't expecting the gold shift at all. It's very deceptive looking at it in the pan. Of course, that seems to be a common theme with this palette. I would have called this the Trickster palette.
AKA the Trickster. And I'm here to relieve you fine people from all your money.
Okay, and next I'm going to go in with Uncover, and I am going to try this dry first, just to see how it performs. Don't know if I like it with that Stark, though. Maybe I should... Oh my god. That Jaybird. No wonder people are going nuts over those shades. Let's try Au Naturel. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's like an old gold. Maybe I should just go for broke and do that. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? You know what? I want to show you guys as many colors as I can. I don't like what I'm doing right this moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glitter glue, some Too Faced glitter glue first, because she recommends... Are you going to come out of there? You better not be dry. I just bought you, punk. Wow, that is really thick in there. Okay, so I'm going to take some glitter glue, get it on my brush here. It's really thick. And I'm going to pat it. I'm just going to go right over all this because that's what I'm going to do anyways. I'm making a mess of this eye look, but you know what? That's what happens when you try stuff out for the first time. Sometimes you rock it and sometimes you sock it. Hopefully that won't make my eyelid look like a textured ass mess now. I am going to do one eye at a time. I want to put a little bit down here because I'm going to add that gold right there. So I'm just bringing the glitter glue right down around the base of my tear duct. And now I'm going to take that Au Naturel, which is the gold one. Oh boy. Oh boy. And let's pat her on here. These are they're like the way I would describe this is like a pigment and a glitter combined. And then let's take Jaybird. I'll just use both of them. This is not what oh my god. I was gonna say this is not what I would normally do with an eye look, but since the object is to show you the products, oh wow, you gotta be careful with these so they really, I don't know if you can see it flaking and falling on my face. Oh, this is a beautiful color. This has, this is not the copper, again, deceptive color.
The Trickster.
This has a very, very significant pink duochrome to it. Would be the way I would describe it. I'm gonna wet my brush with some Fix Plus. And just let me, in the back of my hand here a little and mix it with the Fix Plus a little bit and see if that helps. Much easier to control. That is a beautiful color. Absolutely beautiful. That really is a pretty color, you guys. That is very, very unique. That's not something that you're going to see in every palette. Okay, and I'm going to take just go back to a little bit of that gold and just try and meld these two together. And then a little bit back to Jaybird. Do the same. I'll tell you one thing though, I don't think that these two shades will last long if you use them often. The Jaybird and Au Naturel. I've already made significant dents in my pans. Okay, now that I just made an absolute disaster of myself, I'm going to go back to Nakey Nakey and try and blend some of this in. I have huge amounts of fallout on my face from the glitter, from the those two Jaybird and Au Naturel. Even after using glitter glue and using them wet both, I still have a lot of glitter on my face. But I will say this, that if I were to use those again, you can see the difference, and I left it this way intentionally, not just so it looked like shit and wonky, but so you could see the difference. This eye here, the color of it is much more, especially for the Jaybird, that rosy color is much more pronounced than it is here, but you see the texture on my eyelid it brings out. So if I were to use those colors again, I think I would probably use them wet, which is what I did here, as compared to on this side where I just depended on the glitter glue and only used it wet right around the top there. Next thing I want to do is I'm just going to take, this is the, let's see, what is this, Ciate's Fierce Flicks, and I am just going to run a line right along my lash line just to have some definition. Don't know where I'm going with this. And next, how about we just get some mascara on and call it a day, because the more I keep mucking with this and the more I put on, the worse it's gonna get. And I have to go get my kiddo from school. She is very mad at me right now because I have not left yet. Now I'm gonna try this for the first time. This is the Big Bang mascara from Benefit. It's their new mascara, so I figured we'd give it a try now and see what she looks like. It appears to be extremely black, but boy, it'll get them pretty thick pretty fast. Now this is the, if I were going to do a look like this with, you know, cut crease and all this, I would normally wear lashes with this, no question. But so far, my first impression of that is pretty good. Oh, I'm coming. Oh, good Lord, I'm getting railed. Okay, now I'm going to do the lower lashes. Actually, I should put some liner in there, but oh well. If I was going out or something, I'd wear lashes with this. Ooh, that's getting really thick, really fast. Let's just say this mascara likes to build on itself. If you like incredibly dense, thick, black lashes, I think this mascara will do it for you, because it is, oh, are you kidding me? That mascara takes a long time to dry for that to transfer. Holy cow, because I applied that quite a few minutes ago. This is a very thick building mascara without a doubt. I just don't know if it's going to be too heavy for my lashes or not. Okay, last thing I want to do is just add a neutral lip and we'll call it a day. Okay, I'm just going to take this little Bodyography flat shader brush here, and if that mascara transfers again, I'm going to hurt someone. And I'm just going to take a little bit of Stark, and just as kind of a finishing touch, I'm going to put it right there under the high point of my brow. Blend in, baby, blend in. There we go, little bling bling right under the brow bone. Yes, even us older gals can bling bling. So what say ya, baby? My thoughts on this palette, it's a beautiful palette. I'm going to put some in my inner corner here too, because my inner corners are always shaded dark, so I like to actually go right on the side of my nose above my tear duct there, that area right there, and I get the whole thing to really reflect light off of that dark cave that sits there. My thoughts on this palette, I think it's a beautiful palette. I think she did a really good job curating the colors. Everything applied beautifully. You know, the only thing I noticed and the only difference I would make, you know, for one thing, obviously I'd wear lashes with this look, but I don't have time to do it today. Sorry! My dog is Bree's yelling at me because I'm late to pick her up to school. But just because of the texture, and I'll close my eyes so you can see, and look at the side here, and you'll see how much more textured this lid looks as compared to this. When I added moisture to this formula, it just blended beautifully and smoothed over and gave that metal high shine look. Now over here I still have that metal high shine look, but you're going to see a lot more texture there. You're going to see the texture of the product as well as the texture of my eyelid. So if I were to use these two colors again, which I will, they're beautiful, I would definitely recommend, if you're mature, that you have mature eyelids or you have textured eyelids, I would definitely recommend that you use those wet. And I think the reason why is because just when you're using the glitter glue and you're taking it right out of the pan onto the glitter glue, like I said, this is like a mixture of, it's like a flake glitter or a flake pigment. That's the best way I can describe it. And if you're putting it right onto a glitter glue, it's actually applying those flakes directly in the pigment, like it's like a powdered pigment and a flake. That's the best way I can describe it. But it's applying that right to your eyelids, so you're getting, you know, higher pieces and lower pieces, and because it's sticking right to it, to the base. Whereas when I actually wet the formula, as you can see on the back of my hand here, I kind of wet it and mushed it around a little bit so it all combined into like a paste. And then I paint, you know, kind of like painted it on, if you will. And you can see how, at least I hope you can see, how smooth it looks here as compared to here. It definitely does take the shine down a little bit when you do that though, because this eye is definitely, you know, the colors are much more reflective here than they are here, but they're still gorgeous. I will say though, these are gonna go fast. I don't know if you'll really be able to, there, maybe you can see there, especially this one. I mean, look at that. It's got a hole in it. And this one does too, but really, I mean, these are gonna go fast. You know, if I use these regular, I'd hit pan on them, no question, in no time. So my final thoughts, and excuse the fact that I'm not, you know, first off that I did a look that ended up kind of wacky looking doodle here, but went in all different directions, but that I'm not putting lashes on and completing it, because honest to God, I don't have time. I got to go right now. My final thoughts on this palette though, I think it's a beautiful palette. I think the shadows blended beautifully. I had no problems blending anything. I had no problems with any of it. It blended beautifully. The only thing I told you was about the application of those two foiled products and the difference in them. And that's not a problem. That's just different ways of applying them and how they perform on the eyes. So I think there's beautiful colors in here. This palette, I will say, that it should have been called the Trickster though.
The Trickster.
Because these shades, when you look at them in here, they do not look the same in the pans as they do when they go on the eyes. Not even close. It is really something. And I'm hoping you'll see that when I do the swatches of these. This Nudie Patootie, she's a trickster is what she is, but she's a beautiful trickster. So I will put links down below if you're interested in picking this up. Like I said, I think it's a beautiful palette. I think Laura Lee did a beautiful job on it. It's curated with the colors beautifully. The construction of the palette's really nice. It's durable. It feels well made. It does not feel cheap or flimsy. It has a mirror in it that clearly can be used, even though it may look like I didn't use a mirror by my eye look today. I did use it and I could see clearly out of it. The range of colors that are in it allow you to do warm tone, cool tone, neutral, mix it up as I did today. And the other thing is too, looking at the, I can't tell for sure obviously because I'm very, very pale. But looking at the pigmentation and how these applied to my eyes, I would probably be willing to guess that a good portion of these would show up on dark skin. Now again, like I said, I cannot tell you that for sure. I would highly recommend searching YouTube. There are lots of reviews on this. I'm sure there's more by now. And I'm sure there's women of color that have used this palette and reviewed it, and you'll be able to see that. But my guess is that a good amount of these colors will be able to show up on all skin tones. So anyways, I think she did a beautiful job with the palette. I really do, and I think she should be commended for her hard work and what she's put into it. I think she's going in the right direction with her product. From what I can see, the drastic change between the first and the second. And I'll tell you, that takes, that takes a lot of courage to take a butt kicking like that, which she did. She took a hard butt kicking. And to come back with something like this. So Laura Lee, you should feel incredibly proud of yourself. I'm proud for you. I've purchased, I have other palettes here you guys will see, and other collabs. I purchased her ColourPop collab I haven't showed you yet, and I purchased her, what's the other eyeshadow palette she did? Violet Voss. I have that eyeshadow palette here, and I haven't showed either of those to you guys yet. I haven't even opened them, you guys, because I have so much stuff to go through. Anyway, so, I really want to see her succeed, and I think she's on the right track right now. So all I can say is, girl, don't let people knock you down. Remember, it's really sad, but in our world, there are people that when they see other people succeed, their envy warps to jealousy and hatred. And it's very, very sad that those people, when you see somebody succeed and you want that, you should use that as a driving force to kick your ass in gear and get out there and go after what you want and not be afraid to do it. But unfortunately, some people are too afraid. And some people just think they can't. They have a can't mindset. I can't do it. I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. And when they see somebody that's actually doing it and succeeding, they get pretty bitter about it. So all I can say, if you watch this video, don't let those people get to you. Know that you're doing what you need to do, and I think you created a beautiful palette. I think you should be really proud of yourself, and I personally highly recommend this palette. And it's not because I watch Laura Lee or support Laura Lee or subscribe to her channel, which I do and have for years, since before she moved out to Los Angeles, but it's because it genuinely is a really good palette. It's beautiful, and you can see the way it applied to my eyes, and the rest of it's just operator error, because I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just somebody who loves to have fun with makeup. So all I can say is this: Laura Lee, thanks for giving me something fun. Know that I'm supporting you at the same time. It was a pleasure. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until next time, remember, never take no for an answer. Don't let people tell you you can't, you shouldn't, you won't. If you want something, go for it. You can do anything you want to do. You can reach any goal you want to. You can achieve whatever you set your mind to. I love you guys, and always remember, love and respect your fellow humans. Till next time, bye.